by you. Another Paul and Palz podcast edition. I am Paul. These are the pals, Mr. William Lendoogs. Today, we talk about Will's going into the dark side of things. So we're gonna go into Will's story. We're also gonna talk about WandaVision. Mr. William, if you would be so kind as to put the body to the side for a minute and let her rip, man.
Body in the trunk.
That was a good tune when it came out.
That was. That's probably made like the third song on the album. That was really good.
Yeah.
One of the Noriega episodes, he talks about how they came up with it, whatever.
Drink Champs. That's a good podcast for any hip hop lover out there.
Yeah. He also talks about that stupid line that we always make fun of him for, with that Neptune's got a Cocker Spaniel, something like that. He explains that it has something to do with like a watch or something like that. And I was just like, I don't know. It just sounds stupid.
I love Nori. Not the most lyrical dude I've ever heard, but I just gotta love Nori for being Nori. But yeah, if I'm looking for lyrics, I'm probably gonna skip Nori. But CNN, the War Report,
can't be that
classic. Yeah. And he held it down because Capone was in jail. So that is an all-timer as far as group tracks. And,
Yeah, you need that in your system. It has to be like indoctrinated.
Any hip-hop fan should have the War Report in the catalog.
So I'm gonna switch it up a bit. I'm gonna cover these two things that I heard this past week. And if it goes fast enough, then I could go into that story that I wanted to go into with the murders, which is still going on. But so the first short story is something I learned a few days ago about Mount Everest, actually. So this goes to, I want to say, overconfidence. And there's always a time when you're in a situation.
Sorry to cut you off real quick. I'm pretty sure I heard this yesterday and it was sick. Like I was actually like, damn, I hope Will talks about this one. And there you go. I already think I'm pretty sure, but go ahead, man. This is a good one. Go ahead.
So there's always a point where sometimes we're in a situation where it's like you can either keep going or you could turn back. And I kind of feel like I've heard so many of these stories and people get like so overconfident that they think they can continue going on. So fast forward to this guy from Nepal who wanted to climb Mount Everest.
I was gonna say that. I'm sorry. I was gonna say that. Yes, Brother Namsi. Sorry, bro.
Oh, no problem. I just want to send you guys a picture of it. Okay, sent you guys the picture. So he wanted to climb Mount Everest, and so he embarked on that journey. While going up, there were tons of red flags, tons of warning signs. He was warned multiple times saying like, hey, if you don't make it to the top by this time, I think it was 3 p.m., they said, don't even bother because the weather really gets brutal up there. And for people that don't know, towards the peak, the percentage of oxygen is so low, it's very dangerous. So again, this guy ends up going up there, way over whatever the limit he was advised to go to, ended up freezing to death. Here's what I didn't know, and they told me in the special, is that there's actually hundreds of dead bodies up there, and they're just up there. Like, it's too expensive to go and remove those dead bodies.
And too dangerous,
right. So if you ever trek up Mount Everest, you'll be stepping over dead bodies, getting up there. And I sent you a picture of the guy because he said he was wearing these neon green boots. So he's like, if you ever, trekking up there and you see these neon green boots, that's this guy.
So he's known as Green Boots. He's the most famous person that died that's on the mountain, and he's to this day he's in a curled up position, and you could recognize him by him wearing those green boots that Will was talking about.
Wow. Yeah. So wait, why is he so famous? Because he's the most recognizable. I don't get it. Say that part again.
Just his story.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he wasn't actually someone like in the or someone famous. Okay.
No.
There's
that area that Will was talking about, that the oxygen's so low, it's called the death zone. Am I saying that correctly?
Yep, there you go. I was trying to remember the name.
To the death zone.
It's the death zone. And literally, I believe, and shout out to Mr. Ballen, because this is where you got it, I'm assuming, because that's where I heard it. So check out Mr. Ballen. Awesome story. So
you've got great stuff, man.
Yeah. So they were supposed to leave at like 3:30 in the morning. And for whatever reason, from their camp to trek on, they didn't leave till 8 in the morning.
5 hours after. Like, come on.
And it was still like
20 minutes. I can understand. Maybe you can make that up, but you can't make up 5 hours.
It's called the death zone because your body starts to die the moment you walk in there. Cells can't reproduce. Like, the altitude is so fucked up over there. Like, everything is so bad over there. Your body starts to die on that area.
Wow.
So
I wonder what that atmosphere must mean, like actually being there must feel like. It must have like an eerie kind of feeling. Obviously, if it does that to your body, obviously there's like physiological changes going on, I guess, but
well, I mean, altitude, altitude wise,
like,
it's like Denver Mile High, you start to now have to struggle to catch your breath that you would normally take. So automatically you're losing air.
It's no joke, man.
The cold over there is so cold. It has to be like another planet. Kind of, sort of. Like, you have to be in like kind of another, the air is different. The cold is just on a whole other level. It's otherworldly, and people, it's a dangerous place. And I think Mr. Ballen says commercialized, so people don't realize how dangerous it really is. So you will literally go over hundreds of bodies on your way to the summit.
I just saw a story recently where I think I don't know if it's the same mountain, but or somebody blind was trying to do it as well. Did you guys hear anything like that recently?
Really? No, I didn't hear about that. That's crazy.
I'll try to look into it more. But I heard something about a blind guy trying to do that as well. Again, I don't know if it was the same mountain or not, but I know that he was like being tracked in by, I guess, some kind of historic, being the first blind man to hit like a certain point on whatever mountain that they were talking about.
Bigger balls than I have. It's hard for people that can see go up there. Oh, but you hit a certain point and there's zero visibility. It's so bad that you cannot see in front of you. So I guess you're just using the force. If he was going up Everest, he's a maniac.
Using the force.
If he was going up Everest, he's a maniac. Because again, he gets so commercialized, everybody thinks it's just like, hey, let's go climb Mount Everest. But they don't realize the closer you get to that summit, there's a place that's literally called the death zone. And it's not because if you're there for a little bit, you have the possibility of dying. It's literally because the second you're in the death zone, your body is on a timer. It's like a video game that your power bar starts to go down, 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 down. And, it could be a wrap if you're just there too long. Your body starts to go in reverse. You are automatically dying at that point. So that's sick.
Do they say like what is the how do they like what's the start point and end point of the end of the end zone of the death zone? I wasn't even trying to be funny. I was just trying to is it like a mile long or like is it like for like a couple hours or like?
I don't know. I know it's near the summit. That's all I know.
I can tell you this. So I don't know if you guys experience high altitude, but I've experienced high altitude in a bad way. And it was not fun. That was when I went to the Great Wall of China. And I know from being there, it takes 3 hours, if you're from the bottom, to trek up to the summit, the highest point in the Great Wall of China, 3 hours to get up there. So I can only imagine. And I mean, that day for me, it was a hot day. It was like 90 something, almost 100. Now this is the opposite, where it's like extremely cold. And I experienced this high altitude, and my body was like, I literally thought I was gonna die. And there's only 2 times I thought I was gonna die, and in my whole entire life, and that was one of them. And the other time was when I had COVID last year. Those are only 2 times in my life I was like, I'm pretty much done.
No, what about that time when I beat you by 20 in 2K? I could have swore you were like, yeah, I'm done.
Nah. I don't remember that.
Nah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
So I could only imagine that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy bullshit. COVID had me thinking I was gonna die one day. Probably like my third day in. My breathing was so bad.
Yep.
And I just couldn't move. I couldn't move to save my life. I was just in bed, and like that was probably the 3rd straight day I was in bed, and I was just like, there's nobody really around. Like, I'm gonna be found like months later. I'm gonna be found like that damn Everest guy, just curled up.
No green boots though. Yeah. I know.
No green boots.
Good story.
Good story, man.
Yeah. So now there's other stories. The same. I think Mr. Ballen covered this too, and this goes to just stupidity. Like, I'm like, it just pains me every time they even have to even go through this and explain this. Stupidity. Stupidity will get you killed. Stupidity will get you killed or will get somebody else killed. So once again, so this couple and their grandmother and a child are in China. They go on one of those Siberian tiger exhibits where you can drive your car, kind of like a safari.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Oh boy.
They had stakes hanging from the car doors.
So while they're driving, the wife tells the husband, "Oh, I feel kind of car sick." What does this chick do? She gets out the car and kind of takes a breather or whatever. And then the husband says something to her. So she goes from the passenger side, walks all the way over to the driver's side and is talking to him while she's outside of the car.
It's fucking face palm. I don't even want to slap my fucking forehead to hear that.
I'm like, yo. So, of course, the inevitable happens. Siberian tiger grabs her, pulls her into it must have took like seconds, just grabbed and pulled her into the trees or where they were. The husband jumps up, and at first he was kind of hesitant, but then he kind of jumps out of the car and jets wherever he saw his wife go into. The grandmother does the same thing also, leaving the child in the car, jumps and goes. Now, out of 3 of them, the grandmother didn't make it. She was mauled to death. The wife and the husband, they, got scratches and whatever, but they survived.
The wife survived.
I'm surprised.
I was surprised.
Wow.
I thought she was a goner. Wow. The grandmother of all people, who actually went in there last, didn't survive. Because there were other Siberian tigers who grabbed them too. So it wasn't like there was one tiger in there. There was like fucking 5, 6 of them. But here is the kicker. After this whole ordeal, the wife is suing the place where it happened for $2 million, saying that there should have been more signs up. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
See, it's hard for me to say she should have been mauled, but that's like, I mean, it's kind of not like it, but it kind of is. It's like the girl glued her Gorilla Glue on her hair, and she's sewing Gorilla Glue. Like, it's glue.
Yeah, come on.
Don't do that. You're in a Siberian trail with Siberian tigers. You're told to stay in your car.
What to say? I guarantee you, one of the first things they tell you, they're gonna say, "Yo, stay in your car. You're in the."
And they tell you not even to roll down your window. Don't even roll down your window. They tell you.
Whether it's an African safari, like whatever, stay in your vehicle. If you're feeling car sick, you throw up in the car.
Yep.
If you're in that trail, a Siberian tiger trail, or you're in one of those African safari things, you are now in their world. You're in their house. You need to treat that shit with respect.
Yeah,
The
and I'm not
fact
trying to outfit on
the fact that she got out of her car because she wasn't feeling well, she's an idiot. The fact that when the husband was trying to talk to her, she didn't stick her head back in the car. She said, "Hold on," and went around. Like
That's when like that's when you gotta look at the camera, turn to the camera like you know what's about to happen, right?
They should be playing some Benny Hill music when she's walking around like that. Like that's just dumb. Like you're not thinking. Not for nothing. You got the grandmother killed.
Yep. Stupidity get somebody else killed. Yep.
Stupidity get somebody else killed. You know that you were talking about trails and staying in cars and everything. I read somewhere, this wasn't a Mr. Ballen thing. I forgot where I read it, but there's a place in deep up north Canada, and people leave their houses unlocked and people leave their doors unlocked to their cars or whatever. Everything is unlocked because there are polar bears that are just in that town that just walk around. And polar bears, it ain't like they're not black bears, they're not brown bears. Like black bears, you can kind of go, get out of here, bear, and they kind of wuss out. Brown bears, there's different rules for different bears. Polar bears, the rule is make the sign of the cross and come to peace with whatever you need to, because there's no, you're done. Like polar bears don't, like the rule is it's over.
Will thought it was like a secret spell.
When he said do the cross, I'm like, why the fuck the polar bear's gonna run if you do the sign of the cross?
They're not running. They're you have X amount of time to make your peace before you get destroyed, because polar bears don't run. They eat. That's what they do. So the town, because the polar bears are just in the town. They just kind of idly make their way across, and so everybody leaves their houses unlocked and their car doors unlocked in case of polar bear. Like they get to just run to the closest thing and just walk in and hop in it. So like that's the understood thing in that town.
Kind of on the same topic. So there's other places in the world that have stuff like this. Like, like they have like the tornado alley or valley, whatever, like where just tornadoes happen like every year. In other parts of the country, like where they have like crazy shit like that. Like if it was you, what would have to be the thing that would keep you in that town, in that area, knowing that all this shit happens like on a regular basis? Like I would just move. I'm not staying there.
Me too.
Like a risk every year to
nothing would keep me. Nothing would keep me there.
I mean, really, New York, PA, as much as we bitch and complain, and Scranton is a whole other world unto itself. Every place has something to do, whether it's tornado, whether you're in the Midwest and it's Tornado Valley, whether you're on the West Side and it's earthquakes, whether you're down south and it's hurricanes and floods and shit. Like, some people are just, this is home. They tell people to evacuate and they're just like, nah, I'll be in my house.
Or I always like marvel, or when people like live in those areas and like have like a major devastation and then they stay there and like rebuild. I'm like, yo, that shit can happen next year, right? Or 3 weeks from now, or whatever this whole storm season happens. Again, I just it only take like one time for me to learn my lesson, and I'm like, all right, I'm out. I survived.
Same here.
I'm out.
Same here.
Yeah. I mean, but some people just aren't in a position to go.
I get that too. I'm saying that's why I was asking, like, what life circumstances would have to like really keep you there for something like that?
That would probably be the life circumstances. Like, I just can't. Like right now, I would love to get the hell out of Scranton because fuck Scranton. But I'm in a position right now that I can't, even if I wanted to. I can't just up and just leave everything. The problem is a lot of people are more on that boat than just, let's just pack up and get everything and we'll buy a new house in some other place and pay everything and just start a new life over there. Like, that's not, those people are, that's a small percentage of people that can do that.
No doubt.
So, yeah.
I do have a bear story too. Another one that also speaks of stupidity, where these 4 Indian guys go to this trail. Now, mind you, as they're going down this trail, 2 other hikers are coming up, and they warn these guys. They go, listen, down the trail we saw this black bear. you probably don't want to go down there. They got warning again. Situation in life where you can turn back, or you can go ahead and be overconfident.
Hey guys, you don't want to go down there. Hey guys, I got a great idea. Let's go down there.
That's exactly what happens. The two hikers leave. They go up. I think his name was Darsha Patel or something. He convinces the other three, like, you know what? We'll just keep going down. We're gonna stay at a distance. You know, kind of like, I don't know, justifying it somehow. You know, maybe pulling a Milton saying, you know, stop being a bitch. Let's go. We know that type of stuff. Anyway.
famous last words. Yo, stop being a bitch.
I almost heard his last words one time.
So they, of course, they make their way down. They see the bear at a distance. Now, I have no idea if these guys know that how fast bears can be. I guess they underestimated them. But what happened was they saw the bear at a distance. And then what happened was they turned their back for like a few seconds. And then when they turned back, the bear wasn't there anymore.
Mm.
So that immediately, you know, their ears went up, and then they were kind of like, all right, let's get the hell out of here. When they did so, they saw the bushes moving really quick somewhere. So then they just start running. So all four of them are running. All of them make it back to the car, except they notice one is missing. And of course, I think it's hours later or whatever, they find the guy's remains. Whatever, the bear like totally mauled them to death. It was like,
I hope it was the guy that convinced everybody to go down there.
It was that guy. Yeah, it was him.
I gave the Jeter pump. I mean, listen, man, look.
Yeah.
It's fucked up when somebody's stupidity costs somebody else their life. Now, don't get me wrong. They could have just said, no, fuck that. Have fun. I'll be here. So there is accountability of, okay, let's do it. Like, there is that. But the person who initiated it, like, they have the most blood on their hands if something goes wrong, because you should have known. Like, I guess you should have known better. I mean, people are idiots, so you know, it's like the first story that Will said. Like, this dumb lady cost the grandmother her life. People don't realize that.
And she got to live with that too. That's why.
Yeah, like that's. People think they're the Beastmaster when they have to deal with animals. Like, dude, like, pretty much all animals could fuck humans up.
Oh yeah.
If rabbits were killer animals, we'd be fucked. Like, people are super slow. Think about how quick these little ass animals are. And think about how quick a big ass bear is. Now go to humans. What are we doing? We don't have any claws, no talons. We don't have shit other than to die out of breath from trying to run.
Yeah. Right up.
I saw this one thing, because again, people are idiots. I think it was a bear. And it was in the middle of the street. Like, people pulled over. People are taking pictures, but they're doing it from a distance, and they're next to their cars. And there were some cubs somewhere around, and the bear was just chilling. This one lady's like, I'm gonna get close. I'm gonna try to, like, she tried to be all fucking, I could talk like Dr. Doolittle with shit. And she went, and she got close, and she's like, oh, this is beautiful. This is so nature. Da, 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 da. The next clip, that shit is mauling her. Ragdolling her, just back and forth like a rag doll. It didn't kill her. It just had her clothes and was just tossing her around. And then finally, like, a bunch of people, you know, started fucking with the bear and then let go. And the lady, if it was a polar bear, bro, yeah, I think it was a. Get away! Get away! Yeah, I think it was a black bear.
Not working. It's not working.
Yeah, it's not working.
The opposite way, like Rocky, like.
You know,
oh man.
People think. You ever see those clips of people in a zoo, and they're next thing you know, they're behind that glass plate, and there's like a gorilla or a tiger or something, and they just make a dash towards them and like hit the glass. In an instant, that's your ass. And people think they have some type of control of that situation.
Let me tell you one thing. I am not one of those people. I'm good.
Same here.
I am good.
I respect it.
I respect all them animals too much.
Yeah.
I'm not in my. That's like their home court. We ain't winning.
That's what I'm saying. Like whenever you're around certain animals, you are at the mercy of that animal. And some people think that they're just, like I said, they think they're Dr. Doolittle. Hey, bear. Hey, tiger. What's up, buddy?
Especially fucking with bears, like their cubs. Like, if they get any hint or any kind of thing that like their kids are in danger, you're
done.
Something's they're gonna continually try to chase you too. I even seen turkey. Turkeys have a fucking mean streak in them.
Yeah,
there's a couple of videos where they are relentless. If they had like going to what you said, if they had like some kind of dangerous like appendage, like some kind of claws or some shit like that, when they get in their angry mode,
dude, geese are dicks.
Yeah,
yep.
Geese are assholes. If they were like pterodactyls, we'd all be dead.
Yeah.
And so if it's good.
My bad. Now, you ever see like one of those stork-billed birds?
No.
Oh man! All right, I'm gonna send you guys a picture. This is one of the creepiest animals I've ever seen in my life, man.
The black one with the gray bill?
No, they're mostly.
Oh no, those are vultures. Those are vultures. No.
Yeah, they're mostly like bluish, grayish, but they have like these mini. They look like there's like a dwarf or like a smaller person inside of a suit. Yeah, honestly, it's freaky.
What?
I don't know this. I'm gonna find. I'll send you guys a picture.
That's the freakiest description I've ever heard.
Word. I'm like, what?
But these things they don't have like they're not angry, whatever. So like if they were, them things would be fucking dangerous.
Is that Danny DeVito?
Yo. These fucking things, man. These are the shits that fucking haunt me in my fucking nightmares.
Yeah.
Just look at this face. Look at the face on this thing. I just sent you guys a picture.
Animals, if it ain't for their cubs, they're looking at you. Wow.
Yeah, that shit is evil, man. But you got to see them like live.
That shit looks like that looks like on America's Most Wanted, and they show the picture
He's still at large. He's still at large.
Yeah, if you see this bird, alert them, do not approach this bird.
He's known to be very seductive.
That thing does not look seductive. It looks like a fucking killer. So yeah,
some chick would be like, "I love his eyes."
He's just in tune with everything that I do.
It's so. It just oh God, forget it. Yeah,
I sent you a video as well, but yeah, man, I respect animals too much.
People
Damn, look how animals. Big that is.
Yeah, exactly, man. Look how fucking them shits are like prehistoric looking. These motherfuckers right here, man.
Oh damn, yeah, that's pretty big. The shoebill stork. See, you hear stork and you think of the bird that's bringing by babies and shit.
Baby, yep.
That's stork.
Meanwhile, that thing is eating humans alive in one go. That's what I'm saying. Like people have this naiveness about animals. Oh, just a tiger. It's such a beautiful animal. Let me go pet it. It's like a big kitty cat. Come here, kitty. Meanwhile, this thing is looking at you like a cartoon. Like when they see like a big leg, like a big turkey leg, talking, and it's just staring at you.
Oh man, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
So yeah. So apparently pterodactyls are alive and in the form of a stork. Len Dukes.
Yo. So I wanted to get into hopefully spoiler free So I don't know if Will has seen it yet, but I wanted to get into WandaVision and basically more into like the MCU and like where it's heading. And what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I guess we don't have to go into spoilers on it. We can just kind of like
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I don't want to talk too much.
navigate around those waters. I think Marvel is doing an excellent job bringing their graphic novels into TV and movies. This is where DC has faltered. DC can't make a proper movie or show for anything. By the way, Batwoman's ratings are under the basement right now because they just keep fucking that up. I do want to see the Justice League Snyder cut because I heard that's pretty good. But
hold on, I'm sorry to cut you off. But then I'm hearing that DC doesn't want anything to do with the possibly like a part 2 to that or like another one. So that kind of scares me. Like if they're so proud of this and like want to pump it out and like be like all for it, and wouldn't you expect like, all right, wow, we can get like another one in if it's that good?
They don't know what they're doing making movies. They are the definition of all over the place.
Yeah.
So they keep contradicting themselves from one movie to the next. Wonder Woman's big contradiction was she stayed away for like hundreds of years and wasn't known to the public. But in Wonder Woman 1987, she's in a fucking mall in a full uniform. So it's just they can't come up with good stories. Now, I will say this. It's hard to make a Marvel comic into a movie because A, it would just probably cost way too much. B, it's a lot that goes into it, like Infinity War, Infinity Gauntlet. To have that movie made exactly like the comic book verbatim, you couldn't do it. But they did a great job with their interpretation of it. Civil War is a loose adaptation of Civil War, the comic book, but they did a great job with it. WandaVision, I think, is a loose adaptation of the comic book House of M. And that's pretty much kind of sort of what's happening now. Now we have to see what the end is to see if it's like really like House of M. But House of M is the only difference right now is, well, Scarlet Witch is one of the most powerful comic book characters in Marvel. Like, make no mistakes about it.
Yeah, she's a beast.
And it's kind of showing that now because before she was just doing some hand shit and throwing some things around. But in the comic,
she was about to take out Thanos, but then he did the rain hell shit and started taking out Mad Bomb and everything. But she was about to take him out.
So in House of M, she's so powerful and technically she's losing her mind in the comic book. Like she's starting to lose it, kind of like she is now. Like she's making her own reality. So in House of M, she's so powerful that Professor X is like, yo, we should talk about killing her. And she's just talking to the Avengers and the X-Men. She's like, she could fuck up the universe if she wanted to. Yeah. We may have to offer. Wow. And that's where House of M goes into kind of where WandaVision is now, in certain aspects of it. But that's why in House of M, that's why there's only like, it went from hundreds of thousands of mutants to like 100 and change because
she said she goes, no more mutants, and
she's so powerful. Her just saying that eliminated like 98% of the mutants that existed. They didn't kill them; they just all lost their powers. So they just became.
So with that line that she says, "No more mutants," they're I think that they might try to spin it, or what they're saying that how they might try to spin it would be like, "No, period, more mutants," because again, in the MCU, there's no mutants right now, So
true.
So she might be the one to kind of start all the mutants,
and that opens the door for the X-Men and all the other stuff.
A lot of other shit. A lot of, again, it is a great time to be a geek right now if you're into this shit. Like I was saying to you earlier before we started, that like the person behind it, the people behind it, they know what they're fucking doing. They, you know, 2 episodes, actually, yeah, 2 episodes of WandaVision. Pick any one you want, are better than any DC movie, any DC like TV show that has ever come out.
But
well, in the last couple years, I shouldn't say ever, but in the last couple years,
it's because they're doing it right. So the first, and Will, if you haven't seen it, I'm not spoiling it. I'm not spoiling it, but this is how it is. The first 3 episodes was slow. People were like, "What the fuck is this? What am I watching?"
I know, I'm talking about like, yo, I'm just like, yo, let it play out. Just try, like, trust me, don't give up on it. Let it play out, because what they're gonna be doing is setting it off for the next 10 years, whatever they're gonna do.
It's because they understand story, and they understand character development. Like, we're gonna get here, but we have to start here, and we're gonna make our way there. So by the first, second, third episode, you're like, I don't know what I'm watching.
Yeah.
I know it's Vision, I know it's Scarlet Witch, it's Wanda, but what's going on?
So wait, are you all caught up?
I know what's going on.
So wait, look, all right, I'm not gonna, again, not for Will, not to spoil it, whatever, but like, you look what they're doing with the black chick, Triana Parra. Look what they're doing to her character. Like, yo,
slow build.
Love her. Yo, she's bad. She's
third,
dope.
4th episode, they were like, she means something, but we don't know what it is yet. Yeah, and then episode 5, you're like, oh, okay, it's making more sense. The people that understand, like, follow comic books, they understood what she meant in the beginning. Like, there are people that in their comic, in WandaVision, that you automatically know who they are because you're a comic book head. If you're not a comic book head, it's a beautiful reveal how they're doing it. Because again, like DC, the first Justice League, they threw. If Justice League did it right, it should have been here's a Flash movie, here's a Wonder Woman movie, here's a Batman movie, here's a Superman movie, here's an Aquaman movie, here's a Cyborg movie. Boom, they're all together. They go, hey, let's do 5 movies into a 2-hour movie. And they just throw up a movie, and it just doesn't make any sense. When Doomsday came out, I hated how Doomsday came out. In the last, was it Superman? Which I think it was Superman. That Doomsday, the character Doomsday, that Wonder Woman came out.
Oh no, that was
it wasn't Justice League.
Steppenwolf or some shit like that.
No, that I'm talking Doomsday. Steppenwolf was the Justice League. Doomsday was the one that Superman died before Justice League.
Are you talking about the actual? I thought you were talking about movies. You're talking about actual comic book.
No, I'm talking about the movie.
I don't think there's been any Doomsday in any movies.
Whenever I say this, it's because I know for a fact. How much you want to bet?
All right, let's bet $5.
I bet you. I give it you $5.
Okay, wait.
Send it to my PayPal, please.
So wait, I think I know what you're talking about now. But they only call him like. He referred to him as his Doomsday. All right, so you might be right. Go ahead.
So they could have built that into like 2 movies before that happened. The backstory on the comic book Doomsday is sick. And they fucked it up with this movie because they had to rush everything. They made 3 movies into 1. And they just throw everything at it so that by the time it's over, you're like, forget the fuck out of here. It's too much. If they would have did it right, that 1 movie should have been like 3. And built it up so that it was this climactic ending. But no, it's just like bang, 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 bang. There's your movie.
Yeah. Because you think about how powerful that character, like that bad guy was. They should never have been able to like defeat him in like the 20 minutes at the end of the movie. You know? That's
what I'm saying. Like, for what the character is, you need time to build that. Like Thanos he was a part of it all. whether he was not shown or shown, you got little bits of him until it was bang.
Go time.
Infinity War. Little teasers, little slow builds make a better product. That's why WandaVision went from I don't know what I'm watching to now people are waiting for the next episode. Like, yo, I need to see what happens next.
Tell me when that fucking that end shit that please stand by comes on the screen. You're just like, fuck you.
I will say this will. It's not a spoiler. It's not a spoiler. But it's a part that would be like, oh shit, because people always were like, when Thanos did the snap and people disappeared, when the Hulk did the snap, like what the fuck happened? And they actually in WandaVision, they go into that.
Ah, okay.
And it's a sick part. Like people are just like, oh shit. Like people are I watched like the reaction to it. And people are just like, hey, what the fuck is going on? And it's like, oh shit, it's the reverse snap. And it's just that build. That doesn't happen till like last episode before that.
No, I thought it was the first episode.
The reverse snap? No. They call it the blip.
You're right. Maybe like third or fourth episode.
What episode is this one?
This is 7. It was just 7, the 7th.
So I want to say the reverse snap, they showed it either 6 or 5. It was very recent. But either way, they waited 4, 5, 6 episodes to get to that point. People were watching WandaVision, and again, for like the first 3 episodes, they're like, I know something's happening. I just don't know what the hell's happening. By the 4th episode, people are like, ooh. By the 5th episode, people are like, oh shit, this shit is sick. Now it's just like, we now understand what's going on. This product is incredible. And it's, you know, like I said, it's kind of going off of loosely based on House of M, which is an amazing comic.
And that's going to lead to like Secret Wars, they're saying.
It could lead to Secret Wars. It could, what I think it's going to lead on to the creation, like you said, the creation of mutants. Like, you know, it's, as long as they do their interpretation of it correctly and stay somewhat in the thing, I'm sold. Like I said, I think nothing will be.
I got no doubts with them. Like if they say we're gonna do that, I'm like, all right, I bet you it's gonna be dope. Like with DC, it's like you're just like, oh man, they're gonna fuck this up somehow.
First one,
I'm thinking that the Justice League, there's gonna be something. It's not. I'm gonna watch it, but I feel like they did something to fuck it up.
I'm not. The first and only DC movie I saw was Aquaman, because my friend was like, let's go see Aquaman, and I was like, all right. And I like that guy Jason Momoa, so I was like, all right, I'll give him a try. And it was an okay movie. It was okay for a DC movie. It was a spectacular movie. For like a comic book movie, it was a good movie. But you can't trust them. First Wonder Woman, decent. Second Wonder Woman, here comes the horse shit. Their problem is they're trying to catch up to Marvel. And with them trying to catch up, like, that's why stay in your own lane. Figure your shit out. Come up with your game plan. Don't compare yourself to other people. Life lesson along with comic book shit.
Right.
Make your own, like, okay, Marvel is probably like 10 years ahead of you right now. But it's that because DC kept trying to go, all right, well, we need to compare ourselves and we need to do what they're doing, but you're not there yet, and you're fucking that up. So every time you do that, they're taking a year step. You're ahead. You're taking a year step behind.
They need to get like new leadership. Sorry to cut you off. Whoever's in charge of that, like that area of DC, I don't read their comics. If there's going to be any character, it's going to be either Batman or the Joker. But other than that, I don't read any of their stuff. But whoever's in charge as far as like the creative process of movie making, they need to get like all new people in. They failed at every opportunity.
There's a DC universe that technically is a good universe. They have a whole lot of heroes. They have a whole lot of villains. Their problem is they just stick to the 3 that has worked for them, and that's it. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Batman, they've redone so many times. I mean, what are they like? They're under like the 7th Batman right now since the 90s. Like, it's new but it's the same story. If I have to see the parents get shot one more time, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Right? Yeah.
The Batman's foes are so extended. Like we get Joker. He's always a mainstay. We get it. Now they're doing Colin Farrell as the Penguin, but they're so like Ra's al Ghul is deeper than Liam Neeson, how he portrayed it. Deathstroke is a beast, and they haven't utilized him yet. Like,
fucking shame, man.
They have a whole universe to play with, but they're only going with the same 2-3 characters. But now, Marvel, they're just like, fuck it. Even if they just throw out a little name, just to give you a little taste, there it is. So, I like what they're doing with WandaVision. Everything connects, and they're doing it in a way that's like, okay, you may not get it first episode, you may not get a second episode, but the payoff is there. That's why people still watched. They knew a payoff was coming. They're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm watching. This shit's in black and white. It's like I Love Lucy. What am I watching? Yeah. But they knew the payoff was coming. And now they're just like, yo, did you see this episode? This shit is crazy. I can't wait for the next one.
I'm pretty sure it's like the most streamed show right now.
The last WandaVision shut down Disney.
See?
It was streamed so much, it shut it down for a moment.
And again, all right, one more thing. And the dope shit is like, yo, they're giving us shit every week for the rest of the year. When the last episode of WandaVision, like after that, it's gonna be like a week of like the behind the scenes, how WandaVision was like created, and then the next is the first season or the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They're gonna do that and do the same thing, and there's gonna be like the making of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then I think they're gonna do Loki like right after that. It's like just week after week after week.
They set it up. It's so when all the phases were coming out, they pretty much had, when phase 1 came out, it was like, okay, here's what we're gonna do for the year. January, this movie, this movie, this movie. February, this movie, all the way down through December. All right, here's phase 2. Same thing. Here's the calendar and the movies we're bringing out. So that by the time you got to phase 3, which is Infinity War, they had 3 years worth of different characters set up. DC's is like phase 1, Batman, phase 2, Batman, phase 3, Batman, phase 4, Superman. But that's it. Like, they're fucking this up, man. To the point that DC's going down the shitter.
That's their loss, man. They should have had better management, I guess, or like better leadership.
I'm interested to see what the next Suicide Squad is going to be, because the guy that did the Guardians of the Galaxy, that director is doing that. Yeah. So I want to see that.
So even like Birds of Prey, I was like, did you see that? 10 minutes. 10 minutes, I flipped it off. I was like, yeah.
You're giving a lot of horseshit movies more and shows more playtime than I'm willing to give.
10 minutes. I did it because Margot Robbie, she's fucking stunning, man. So like, at least if I'm gonna see anything, she's gonna be in some skimpy outfits and maybe some good fight scenes, whatever. But like the dialogue and I was 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Done.
See, here's the thing though. You can't. She's a great character, but she's a great character amongst other characters. Harley Quinn is not meant to have her own movie.
There you go.
And again, no, with the fighting scenes, Len, no. There's no way this psychiatrist. No way this psychiatrist.
Off the clip, not her. I'm talking about like the other.
No way. No way.
In the movie, whatever. Off the trailer, it looked like there was gonna be some decent fighting scenes.
You're giving it way more credit than I am.
That long for me to even get there, so I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm good.
The only DC thing I saw that was worth a damn was, again, Arrow. It's the only thing that was worth anything. And even then, they started to slide off after, like, season 3, season 4. But nah, they're doing nothing that's making me go, I need to check that out.
They're lost.
So I'm interested to see what WandaVision is gonna be. I love Marvel. I'm a comic book geek, as you can see behind me. So
Yeah, I'm locked in.
I'm locked in. I've always been a comic book geek. I got comics from like the 70s, the 80s. So yeah, I'm interested. And Marvel, for the most part, can't do any wrong.
Too bad you don't have the first Superman. That thing is worth for like $1 million.
Dude, I wish I did. But I'm still not a DC fan like that. So I wouldn't have it anyway. I have a couple of Batmans. I have Death in the Family, which is when Robin got killed by Joker, when he just went upside his head with a crowbar and then blew him up.
Yeah, oh man.
And I have Batman where Bane breaks his back.
Nightfall.
Other than that, and I have the Superman when he dies. But other than that, I don't really do DC like that. Marvel to me has always made a better product, whether it's on comic book or anything. And I became a fan of Spawn because I like that the story of Spawn. So, all right, yeah, that was awesome, man.
Word up.
Cool beans.
Bye.